Welcome back to Tumble Upward. Today I'm speaking with Jesse, who served in the Royal Australian Air Force. During a training exercise, his life changed in an instant when a serious accident left him with an acquired brain injury. Despite these enormous setbacks, he fought to graduate, only to then be medically retired, which set off another difficult chapter in his journey. Jesse speaks a lot about how he found his purpose and came out the other end. Well, let's get into the chat. It was not ideal in terms of background noise, so I have tried to edit it as much as possible. Apologies for any background noise. Welcome to the podcast, Jesse. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
This is a story about courage, resilience, and redefining what it means to live with purpose. Can we start with what drew you to the Australian Air Force?
So my dad was in the Army for 18 years, and my mum's partner, Julie, she was in the Army as well as my uncle. He was in the Air Force. So that culture, that environment was very normal for me. So I liked the idea of that stability, that camaraderie.
And then was it hard getting in?
It is a very competitive program. So my division had a name for our group called the Top 5%, because usually of the thousands of people who apply, only 5% actually get through.
Okay.
So like 300 people get in every year. Very competitive.
Did you have to pass like a physical and then an exam?
So you have to like get evaluated, like you do like a baseline testing just to see where you're at, like cognitively thinking. Then you do medical evaluations to make sure everything is all good, psych evaluation, and then you'll do like fitness testing.
Did you want to always join yourself, or do you feel like because of your family history, that was sort of just your path laid out for you?
I think it was kind of the latter. Like I thought it was the path, like it was the responsible thing to do. Like it would make my parents proud. Like I liked the idea, but it wasn't necessarily like a passion. Like, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. It was just like that was the responsible decision. It was the mature response, and I think I just talked myself into loving the idea that it just became second thought.
Yeah. Okay. So what was training like when you were in there?
For some, it can be quite a shock. Like you just go in there, with your luggage, you're being told to march. You've got people yelling at you if you're out of line, if you're slacking off. If your hair was a bit too long, it gets shaved straight away.
So you liked having that regiment structure?
I did. Like when you go to a location, you walk in a very set way. Like it does have a bit of a comfort to it.
Yeah. Okay. And then what sort of training did you start to specialise in?
I was recruited as an air combat officer. So fundamentally, if there was the two-seater fighter jets, you'd be either the back seat in that, handling the weapon systems and navigation, or you would be on the ground for air command. Unfortunately, where my injury occurred, I was halfway through my training. I still graduated, but that was just through the ADFA process, not my actual job-specific training.
Yeah.
So I never had a chance to get into the air or anything like that.
Okay. So taking back to that training day, did that day start like any normal day?
When you go through ADFA, each year you have a leadership challenge. For this one, we were out field for about a week. We were finishing up. We were quite literally just going home. I woke up like any other day. I was happy to be coming home, like order some good food, relax. And then we hopped onto the bus and we're all tired. So we just put our seatbelts on, lay to sleep, and then, it happened.
Yeah. Can you walk us through what you remember of the accident?
So it was the 21st of November, 2015. We were in the third bus of the convoy. Like I was about in the middle, right against the window. So the bus were to stay within 10 meters of each other. Like there was no reason for him to overtake. And because of what we found out was a deliberately lit bushfire, we had to take a side road off the main highway. And this road in particular was half gravel, half road. And it's actually had a few rollovers in the past. So it had signs saying to slow down, recommended speed of 30, 40. It was believed that he was going above 60. And I just remember waking up to feeling this bump and then hearing this sliding and just feeling this momentum change. Like I'd been in a rollover before, like just a dune buggy, but that feeling is quite set. You know what's going to happen. And I just remember just thinking, oh shit. Just seeing the road approach my face. Upon impact, I don't remember anything from that. I was conscious, but because of the amount of trauma and pain, the brain can induce amnesia. So there's like about an hour where I was conscious, but I don't remember anything. The first memory after that was, I think they had me like in this like tent shaded area, triaging with the ambulances. They gave me the green whistle, and I just remember telling them to call my mum and dad. Mm-hmm. Wasn't aware of the fact that the top of my head was pretty much gone. And then I just remember being wheeled out to the helicopter. Again, not aware of my condition. Like, I was joking. I was like saying, take me to the chopper, like in my worst Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Yeah.
And then I thought I was dozing on and off, but found out that my heart had stopped several times being airlifted.
So back to the bus roll. So you see the ground approaching you. Do you remember if anyone else on the bus were yelling anything, or?
It was just sudden.
Yeah. Okay.
I got woken up by that shift of like the sound and then the momentum, and then
Yeah, and you didn't feel pain instantly.
Not that I was aware of. No.
Okay, and the green whistle was doing its job.
It was at the time.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're in the chopper. Do you remember what was going through your head at that time? Were you still not really thinking it was too serious, or?
I don't have a strong memory of it. I do remember being like seeing slightly the sky and that there was another member with me, but it was like maybe like a brief 1 or 2 minutes, and then waking up in the hospital, being wheeled through the doors.
How did you know your heart had stopped 7 times? Had someone told you afterwards?
So annoyingly, because obviously I wanted to ask the people that were there and even the staff, like, what had happened. But obviously it was a traumatic event. No one really wanted to like talk so openly about it. But a few years afterwards, in Canberra, I'd actually had bumped into a paramedic, and he was asking me about my scars because they were quite distinct. And he's like going, were you in that rollover? And I said, yeah. He was the paramedic on the scene. So he explained how they inserted a catheter into me, that my heart had stopped. I think he said 7 times, a few times with compressions, and then with the paddles.
Wow.
So like I didn't even know it was that bad until like years afterwards, just for that instance alone. How
did you feel when you heard that years afterwards?
I think I was just like overwhelmed by just how small the world can be. Like I was just out in Canberra with a few drinks, like with some friends, and it's like then I just meet someone that you don't think you're ever going to meet. Like I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. Like,
yeah. Do you feel like you appreciated your life a bit more once you heard that?
Definitely. Like it makes you realize that life can be short. Like you think to yourself you can live to 70, 80, 90, hopefully 100, and then at that point I was 20. Like my life could have just been gone like that, and I hadn't even graduated yet.
I guess tomorrow is never promised.
Exactly.
So take us back to hospital. You've woken up. What injuries did you have specifically?
So I had a degloving of the scalp. So that is a complete removal of a portion of my scalp, about 10 by 10 centimeters. So
wow.
like a sizable chunk. And then there was some rips elsewhere. There was a lot of gravel stuck in my scalp, a lot of glass as well. Fractured most of the left side of my face. There's still, like, as you can see, like some like gravel tattooing. Like the gravel had left its pigmentation in my skin. And then I only found out like years afterwards, like the neck injury as well, like as arthritis had set in. But the main issue was just that didn't have scalp on my head. Later, it was like diagnosed as like a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
And then obviously like the mental stuff with that a lot as well, like, you know, PTSD. But yeah, like thankfully, physically I'd come out all right though.
So when you got into hospital, did they get you into surgery straight away?
Like the doctors, the nurses, they got me straight into the operating room first, just to clean out the area, and then to use a vac seal just to at least buy me time to decide what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Like the scalp is quite thick as a skin. You can't just do like a skin transplant like where you might do from your legs or from your glutes. And you need it to be a live tissue to help for that blood flow and all the other processes around it. So essentially they were just trying to buy me time, and then they thankfully found a specialist in Perth who they flew in to try a new surgery which they hadn't done before.
What sort of surgery was that?
They used, I can't remember the name of it, they described it as like a medical balloon. They inserted it into the back of my scalp that was still there, and they inflated it to stretch the scalp that I did have.
Wow.
And then they cut down the side and then stretched it over and then stapled it all together. So
yeah,
quite literally this hair here used to be back here.
Okay.
So that took 4 surgeries.
How long after the accident did you look in the mirror?
I think I looked in the mirror maybe only like I think a day or 2 afterwards. I couldn't open up my left eye. Like I was quite puffy and just but at that time I wasn't like panicked or anything. I was a bit sore, but I didn't realize the extent of it. Just had a lot of bandages on my head. Yeah.
So I guess you couldn't really see if your face had changed or anything like that.
At that stage, no. But when they had gotten me off the stronger meds, I realized something that I found quite trivial at the start. Like, you know, when you take a selfie, like, you always have like one side that you prefer, like, you know, a certain
your
angle.
Good side, yeah.
Yeah, it was the good side that was wrecked, I suppose. So,
of course it was.
Yeah, modelling career gone before it even began.
Out window.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you first saw your true reflection? Was your identity different in any sense?
Oh, a little bit. Like I'd lost a bit of weight whilst I was in hospital. I didn't look how I felt. Even now, like I'll look in the mirror and I just don't recognize my face fully. Like I know it's there. It's mine, but it's just there's that bit of dissociation.
Yeah.
So
I guess you grow up with one identity and you have your perception of how you look. So when you're not seeing that in retrospect back, it can be a bit confusing.
Yeah, it was. I definitely have that kind of that identity issue of like the person I was before and definitely the person that I've become afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. And then how long were you in hospital for recovery?
Thankfully, I was only in for, I think, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I asked very early on. I didn't want to be on strong pain medication. I didn't want to be reliant on it. I knew that I would use it as a crutch if I could. So very early on, I didn't get codeine or endone, even though it could have helped, just so I can get out of the hospital quicker, because if you're on strong medication, they have to wean you off it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get there as quick as possible. So
yeah,
I told them as soon as I was physically ready for the next surgery, put me in.
Were you somewhat worried about addiction with strong medications?
Definitely. Prior to that accident, I had 2 concussions within a 2-week period of time. And I did struggle with that, and I did realize that I was using like the Panadine quite, not loosely, but I was like, okay, cool, morning time, take 2. Not necessarily if I needed it, and then it was difficult to get off it very quickly, so I was like, I don't want to try that again.
Yeah. How did you go mentally dealing with the pain without the pain medications? What got you through the days?
I think I was just determined to get out of there quickly. So like I must have been like on an adrenaline rush for probably like a solid year after that. I was just like, I have to get out of here. And then the next step is, okay, well, I need to get fitter. I need to rebuild my body. And then I need to graduate. So like it was there. And when I was fatigued, it became overwhelming, but I just had things just to focus on. And then that kept me on the path, at least for then.
What was the first thing you did when you got out of hospital? Can you remember?
First thing I did out of hospital was get transferred to the on-base medical department. But then afterwards was just getting ready for the end of, so the graduation parade at ADFA. So not for my year, but so everyone else was marching. I couldn't march, not because of my body, but because I still had the staples in my scalp. So I couldn't even wear my dress hat. So I just remember just holding an umbrella so I didn't get my head burnt, just watching from the sidelines in my uniform and then getting ready for Christmas leave.
What things did you struggle with initially with the brain injury after the talkie?
So the first one was the short-term memory. So long-term memory, it wasn't impacted, thankfully, but so if someone was to introduce themselves to me and tell me their name, I'll hear it, but then if it does not get stored, I lose it. So I would have to try to create like little stories in my head, link all this different information to create a more complex memory for me to be able to recall it. I fatigued very easily. Just all the stimuli around would just like overwhelm me. Became very anxious, very like my moods will swing a lot. So, but again, I was just determined just to graduate. So at that time, it was just survival, just keep going forward.
So you had your Christmas leave, and then did you go back to training to graduate?
Yes. They had offered me what they call like a golden handshake, where I could have continued to do my studies, I would still get paid, and I wouldn't be required to come in like for a few years, but then that would also be like a slope to be, okay, well, let's medically retire you. So I said no. I came back with the ambition to graduate, which thankfully I was able to do. But then afterwards, the injuries were still affecting my ability to perform outfield, which was a requirement for completing my other trainings to then progress onto my actual job-specific training. So then they just had me in the training cell helping out the officer cadets until then I had to be medically retired, because I realised that my thinking capacity had been reduced, and to be aircrew you have to be very switched on. Like that's why you see a lot of pilots that have like that bit of that ego, because they actually have to. They cannot doubt their own thought process. You have to be able to come up with calculations on the spot, and I did not have that with me anymore.
Was it hard to come to terms with being medically discharged?
Yes, that was my identity. Like I told everyone I was going to be in the Air Force. When I was in the Air Force, that was my identity. Like, and I just didn't know what I was going to be doing afterwards. To not have that purpose, to not have that guidance. Like in the military, like you get told what you need to do. If you want to get to the next rank, you have steps to follow. So yeah, it was definitely a shock.
What was happening with your support network at the time? Friends, family, teammates?
The support network was there, but unfortunately, I started to isolate myself a lot. I was drinking a fair amount to first initially just cope with the pain, like the physical pain, to help me sleep, and then it became worse than that. So I pushed people away. Like it's not like they left me alone. It was just that I really did just push them away. And then after a bit of traveling, I came back and I started to slowly reach out, and then some of them started just to force themselves in, which was good. I was very glad and appreciative for my friends and family.
Yeah. Where did you travel to?
So because when I medically retired, I had no place to go. Like there was no home for me. Like, yeah, I had my parents, but there was no like, well, I live in Brisbane, I live in Sydney. It's like I didn't have an actual address to send my stuff to. So I decided I'll just go travel Europe for 3 months. Just go to Spain, and then my return flight would be from Heathrow Airport. So just went wherever I felt like. So I'll just go to the train station and be like, Prague. Yeah, cool, let's go.
That's cool. Did you do it solo?
At the start, I did it with some of my army mates. And then for the last 2 months, I did it solo. So just going to like hostels, like, you know, like good social outlets. And then like if I wanted to go off by myself, I could do that. And then just, yeah. Did
you learn anything from your travels? Or did you find more of an identity?
To be honest, as much as I'd love to say I found myself or I found purpose, at that point I was still drinking quite a lot. I enjoyed myself, and it was not a waste of time. But I think I did learn like how empty I'd felt, like the things I was doing just to try to bring some joy or excitement. It was not worth the effort, the energy that it took from me, but it did make me realize that I needed to reach out to some of my friends. So thankfully I have some really good friends here. So when I was over in Europe, I like reached out to one of them and then made plans that I'd move in with him when I got back. He was going to get me to join his soccer team, and because at that point I think I'd gained 15 kilos in that 3 months, so I was starting to get a bit chubby. So he was very enthusiastic about trying to encourage me to find something to do purpose-wise, like what next. So like he got me to volunteer at RSPCA, at least for the time, and then just started figuring out things from there.
So you're slowly building little pockets of purpose again.
I did, and one of the first things I did was cut back the drinking, just slowly reach out to more doctors to actually start to try to find out what I can actually do about my health, what I can do to actually fix myself, and just find that purpose. And then when I did, I actually felt I was actually happier without requiring anything else.
What point in the drinking did you get to where you were like, okay, this is enough? Was it like an overnight thing, or was it a gradual, just trying to cut back? Because I guess you had to recognise first that it was an issue.
Yeah, within the first 3 weeks of being back in Australia, I was settling in at my mate's place that I was moving into, just setting up my room, and unfortunately had a heated argument with my father. I was drinking. He accused me of saying, are you drinking? And obviously I was defenseless. No. And then it got to the point of saying, let's meet, with the intention to fight it out. I drove to where he was.
Wow.
Obviously we got into a fight. And I was going to drive away because his wife had called the cops. And then I drove half a block away, and then for some reason I was like, no, I got to show my dad I've got integrity. I'm not going to run away from this. So I drove my car back, waited for the cops. I allowed them to do a breath test. Like there was no evidence of me being with my car. Like I could have easily just been like, nah, I've got an Uber here.
Okay,
Did the breath test, was put into the cop shop. My friend came pick me up, and obviously I lost my license. That was the waking up point, and I was kind of happy with how I handled myself. Like I didn't try to give some sob story when I had to appear before the judge. I was like going, look, I take full ownership. This is what I did. Do what you must. But I did ask, saying at the time I was looking at applying for an assistance dog, and that a criminal record or like stuff on your record can impede upon that. So I say, give me the punishment. If there's a chance for that to be offered, that would be awesome, but I understand as my actions.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the judge, I think, just saw that I was just trying to be honest. So got the required license ban, the breathalyzer put into the car, and then that was the wake-up call. And then after that, I think I wouldn't even drink for like months on end. Like I try to save it for special occasions, and then Yeah, like that was definitely a wake-up call, but it was what I needed.
Yeah. So you needed that big event to occur and then taking ownership and then, yeah. Okay. And then you were getting back into sport, the volunteering. How did things go from there? How did you find working with the brain injury in terms of focus, attention, memory, fatigue?
I found it quite volatile. Like there'll be some days I feel amazing and then I would push myself. And then that fatigue would really set me back for days on end afterwards. But then I found that it wasn't necessarily just the work. It was if it was actually something I loved. If it was something menial, I'd get fatigued very easily. But if it was something I was passionate about, it felt effortless. There was no stress about it. I could just do it and not feel fatigued. So I looked into finding something that I could do, and that I looked into personal training because I was looking after my health at that point.
Yeah.
I loved fitness. I loved everything about it. So did that course, got into that, tried that for a while until I found it wasn't the true purpose, but it got me at least on the right path. And then that's when I did my exercise sports science degree to be a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
And then I found that even though it was a highly stressful environment, it didn't impact me. I actually found energy rather than lost energy, and then that helped keep me focused. And
So it's definitely very important to find what you're passionate about.
very much, like I think that's like the biggest thing I've taken from it all is that life is too short to be serious. Life is too short to not be doing the stuff that you love. Like
For sure.
Like when I got injured, I did get a bit of a payout, and I burnt through a lot of that money very quickly. And that did not bring me joy. So whether I was earning a little bit but doing something I loved versus earning a lot and not doing something I loved, I couldn't go by my life just for money. It had to be for something that I loved.
Yeah. I guess we all die in the end anyway, so give everything a shot.
Exactly.
How did you go studying? Was it hard?
It was difficult because like I had already done a university degree before the injury. So having that awareness of what I was capable of versus what I am capable of at that point was a bit of a shock, but I found ways to make it work, ways of taking notes, ways of at least absorbing the information and actually helping it stick.
How'd you feel when you graduated?
Initially, I felt overwhelmed in a good sense. Like the degree was the next 3 years of my purpose. It was like, I just need to get through this. I need to get through this, and then it's all going to be amazing. Because I was doing strength and conditioning whilst I was doing the degree, and then the degree is the thing that's going to help you get employment that is a bit more sustainable, enough to actually pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I just put so much weight on just getting through that degree. So by the time I actually then finished it, after all the celebrations, then there was that realization that, oh, there's still a lot more to go, but also because I just put all my hope in that will bring me joy. That once that's done, it will all be good. I'll be happier. I will be more structured. And then that was like another little wake up call. Okay, I need to actually look inwards to find things that can help me relax, do things that make me happy, things that, you know, when I come back home, not on the laptop trying to do work, actually just being able to switch off. Yeah. That work-life balance.
I guess we always set goals and we're like, once we get to this goal, I'll be happy. And then you get there and you're like, yeah, okay, it was good. And then you set the next goal and you're always just pushing the goalpost, but not appreciating and being present when you do achieve that goal.
Yeah. Very much agree on that. But I was very, very lucky that I'd been given an opportunity early after graduating to run a high-performance program at Norths Rugby Union. Now I'm working with the Rugby Sevens, and I'm about to be helping the Queensland Samoan 15s as well for their summer comp as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is. I could be drained from anything else. I could have a really bad day, but I go into the club and I come out feeling recharged despite like, you know, a few hours of like intense focus, let alone all the data analysis. It really does fill my cup.
And once you started working, your personal life was back on track, everything like that. How did you manage the balance between both? And what were the health things you were working on in the background for recovery?
So with regards to the balance, like obviously that realization that I was unbalanced after graduating, I was engaged at that point. So like there was a lot of stress with that. So I started looking a little bit more inward, and then I realized it just wasn't healthy with that, just because I was putting all my effort into looking after her.
Okay.
There was nothing wrong with her. She was an amazing person, but
yeah.
I was putting a lot of my energy into her, and with her there, I just couldn't put energy into myself.
So you're prioritizing that and you couldn't give time to yourself.
Indeed. Like I just mentally, for some reason, I think I owed a lot of my recovery to her assistance that I just couldn't justify it to myself. So when that came to an end, I started re-engaging with psychologists, had a renewed energy to really chasing other specialists. So like it's already coming up to now 10 years since that accident, and I was still having a lot of chronic pain to deal with. So like I just been throwing myself out there, doing blood tests, driving for a few hours just to go see some specialists, pouring my own money into my own recovery.
Yeah.
But the things that have become the cornerstone, definitely meditation, just to help quiet the brain a bit. I've been using a lot of like the Shakti mats, like those prickly mats.
I've never heard of them before. What's that?
It's like a flat mat with a lot of these like plastic spikes. What it does is it draws blood more to the surface, so away from the core, so you can't just relax a lot more. For me, it's really good for the head, just because a lot of the scar tissue, I don't get very much circulation there, so it gets very tight. Hence why you might see me like cracking my neck. It's just all uncomfortable with that. So that kind of just helps relax that.
Do you like sit on it or lie on it? Or?
You lay on it. So you just lay on the floor. So that also kind of helps you just stay present, because if you're really motivated, you can use your phone, but it gets uncomfortable very quickly. So you actually kind of forced just to take a step back.
So you don't do guided meditation, you do your own thing silently?
I will do guided meditation in the morning. One's more like a gratitude one, where it's just each day I'll have like a different lesson. Like I just use like an app called Calm.
I've heard of that.
Like it has all these different varieties, and then at night time I'll just put on like one of the non-guided meditation soundtracks and just lay on the mat for like 20 minutes and then go to bed afterwards. And then what's the other things? I'll be doing like ice baths in the morning just to help with that central nervous system, just to help downregulate that, and then sauna just to help with the circulation with the head, just to help relax the muscles.
Yeah.
Exercise, definitely. Like I got to practice what I preach. And just a really clean diet and just little things around the house, like gardening as well, just to keep myself grounded.
And for people struggling to calm their mind who are wanting to get into meditation, because I also agree it's the cornerstone of everything, especially in today's lives. We're so busy. We've always got screens, we've got radio, we've got ads. How can they get into it slowly or ease into it that doesn't seem so overwhelming?
I think even just doing it seated down, or even driving, like, because the idea of like laying down or setting yourself 10, 15, 20 minutes, like that can be a lot of time if you're stressed. You're like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So anything that lengthens the breath is what's going to calm you down. It's on the exhale in which the heartbeat will actually reduce. The inhale is what's going to upregulate. It's the exhale that's going to downregulate. So when you're hyperventilating, you're sending a lot of signals to drive up the heart rate. So you can do things like box breath, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4.
Start with breathing just while you're already doing things, so you don't have to set aside time for it. Yeah,
I would highly encourage just like nasal breathing. Both that helps with reducing CO2 loss, but also just because of the vagal tone. So you can actually help just calm down the brain just with the in and then the longer out. Like as long as like you breathe out for longer than you breathed in, that's whatever technique is usually going to help calm you down, and you'll feel it within a minute. So just try it and you'll be like, oh, that was nice.
I feel chill.
And then just find a way to put it into your routine that you like.
Yeah.
Like I can say this is the best meditation practice, but if you don't feel like doing it, it's not the best because you're not going to do it. Like you got to find what works best for you. It's very easy just to be like, okay, I've got to do this, this, and this, and you're thinking into the future, but it's very hard to then think into the present and be like, oh, I actually am enjoying this because of this.
Yeah.
That coffee was really nice.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that my garden is growing nicer. I'm really happy for my health. I'm really happy that yesterday I was in a bit more discomfort, but today I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Just being in the present.
For sure. I definitely have found that in my life as well, trying to appreciate the present.
It definitely helps slow things down, like makes you enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I also find looking up into, the sky or the moon or whatnot just makes you feel so small and insignificant in the grand scheme of the universe. And I don't know, it just makes my problems sort of dissolve a little bit.
Yeah, it does have a bit of a calming effect. Like, I never really thought about it as feeling small, but yeah, it makes sense. It just
makes me feel like, wow, in the grand scheme of the universe, I'm like an ant. Like my problems are so trivial.
Yeah, it's like, it's not really that bad.
Yeah. And then how did you go with your weight loss journey? Now you found your job, you started the strength and conditioning with the rugby. Were you still working on the weight loss as well? Diet, exercise?
The unfortunate nature with some medications is that it does affect like hormone secretion. So for me, at times it has been difficult to keep weight off. So I've had to be very careful with how I diet, not like going, I can't eat burgers, can't do this, that. It's just like portion sizes and knowing that, okay, that week, I ate that amount, but I was active 4 times of the week. But in other weeks where maybe some of my symptoms start to flare up, okay, maybe I just need to bring back some of it. I've got to be diligent with it, but I like structure anyway, so it works. So to even just like gain or lose weight, it is the accumulation of that small surplus or deficit over like a long time. So if it's just the one or twice, it's like
oh well, I got to live life.
Like life has got enough stresses as it is. Like,
I guess being good like 80% of the time, and then you got that 20%.
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So we have 2 reoccurring questions that I ask every guest on the podcast. I'm going to start off with the first question. If you could go back and give yourself one sentence of advice at your lowest point, what would it be?
Given in mind, I would only give this answer if it doesn't affect the future. Okay. Because to be honest, as much as it's been really low points, it's led me to the point I am right now, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah. But I'll just say to myself, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Like it's not going to be great now, but it will be better. Just keep going forward. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And what advice could you give people who are struggling with mental health, or maybe they've had a brain injury themselves? I would say just start with a healthcare practitioner. So like reach out to your doctor, just something. Even if you don't feel comfortable with talking to like a psychologist, just putting that effort in towards your own health almost has like a healing benefit in itself. You are putting resources towards yourself. You start being a bit more conscious of the decisions that you are making. Yeah. So I'd say definitely talk to someone, and also maybe know that your friends do want to know how you're going. Like it is not a selfish thing to occasionally respond if they ask, how you going? Instead of saying, yeah, great, yourself. Actually going, you know what? This week has just been a roller coaster. It's not going all right. Yeah. Because they do care. They want to know. Yeah. If you hold on to it yourself, it's not going to go away. So just reach out. I guess it opens the conversation for them too. Like if you give a little bit into your life, then they'll give a little bit back. And then the conversation flows from there. And for the brain injury stuff, if you're not already taking creatine, please do. Like the scientific literature behind that is solid. They've been trying for like 30 years to maybe find something.
Yeah.
They've yet to find anything wrong with it. It's very, very, very important for brain health. Like, yes, it does have physical performance benefits.
Yeah.
But that's only just because of the actual energy aspect of it for the muscles. But for the brain, it's vital. And another thing for the brain injury is just, you might have certain pathways that have been impaired or destroyed. The brain is very, I think neuroplastic is the word they use.
It can adapt and change. You
can create new pathways, but the only way to do that is by making yourself uncomfortable, trying to learn things. Mm-hmm. So whether it's like you want to pick up a new hobby, you need to find ways to stimulate the brain. If you put limitations on yourself of like, I can't do that, you're only just going to go downhill.
Standing in your own way. Yeah. All right. And the second question, looking back on your journey now, is there anything you can smile or laugh about? Any part of your journey?
I would just laugh at how much I stressed about so little menial things. Like the times that I thought, my life is over. Not in a sadistic way, just to be like, if only you knew. But now I get to look back at it now and just be like, you know what? It's all good.
It's all good. I guess it's always hindsight and perspective. Yeah.
Hindsight can be a
great thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, is there anything else you want to share about your story?
For me, it's my environment has been my biggest contributing factor to whatever I've done. When I was at my lowest point, I was isolated. That was my environment. I locked myself out from the world. So therefore, that's what led from that. When I was around good people that cared about life, people that cared about their health, that created my new environment, and then I made those healthy choices. Environment is everything. It doesn't mean you have to burn everything or you have to push everyone away saying, nah, you're not healthy for me.
Yeah.
But just be aware of your environment, but you can control it. You don't have to take a step in. You can change things about it.
I definitely agree with that. People that you surround yourself with is super important, and you become a product of your environment and your friends and everything. So I guess making those small steps towards having the right support network, people around you.
It's just a lot. It's like crazy. It's like 2 months and it'll be 10 years, and it's like, it just feels like yesterday. Like I don't feel like I'm 30. Yeah. But at the same time, I know I've got so much time ahead. So
yeah. Do you feel optimistic about the future now?
Very much. I'm just so eager just to see where it goes. Not of like I'm so eager for next season. I'm so eager for my next job. I'm so eager for like just those next steps. I'm so excited just for the process. Like I've tried some new treatments recently for my nerve pain, and some of it has worked, some of it hasn't. And it's crazy that I'm actually okay that some of it hasn't, because now I'm like, cool, we can rule that off and try something new. And so I'm excited to push myself both physically, mentally and emotionally, and I'm just, wherever it takes me, I'm going to be happy to be there. Along the ride. Exactly. Thanks so much for sharing your story and being so open. That's my pleasure. Jesse, your story is nothing short of extraordinary. Your journey reminds us that purpose isn't always found where we expect it, but we can create it even after the hardest chapters. For those listening, I hope this conversation inspires you to keep fighting, to adapt when life changes course, and to believe in your ability to truly live again. This has been Tumble Upward. Please go out, look at the sky, look at the moon, look at the sunset, and just get a new perspective on where you sit in relation to the universe. I promise you, nothing will bring you more present than doing that. Thanks, guys. See ya. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say, if you or anyone you know has a story to share, please reach out so that I can keep bringing you stories from our community. Let's get as many voices heard as possible. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, review, and follow. Thanks, everyone.